All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating paradox. What if being naturally talented isn't the superpower you think it is? What if, actually, it's a trap? So, let me ask you something. Think back to when you were in school. Were you that kid? You know, the one who just got it? Everything seemed to come easy, and you learned stuff fast, maybe without even trying all that hard.
Or were you the one looking at that kid feeling like, man, I have to work twice as hard just to keep up? Maybe you even kind of envied them.
Okay, so whichever one of those you were, it actually brings us to this central idea, something we're calling the talent trap.
So what is it? Well, it's a situation where early, easy success actually holds you back. It stops a talented person from developing the resilience, the character you absolutely need for long-term growth. See, when everything's a breeze, you never face the stuff that builds a tough mindset. You don't get to practice failing, struggling, and most importantly, you don't get to practice overcoming.
Okay, to really get this, let's bring it to life. Imagine we're following two different people, two archetypes really, on their journey towards the exact same goal, success.
And here you can see their paths side by side. On one hand, you've got the natural. Everything's easy, right? But look closer. Their character is totally untested. Then you have the striver. Every single step is a challenge for them. But notice what's happening. They're constantly building something. They're forging a strong mindset, a tough character. The struggle itself, that's their secret weapon.
Right, but that easy street doesn't go on forever. Sooner or later, and it's always sooner or later, talent hits a wall.
And here's the hard truth. Talent has a limit. It can only carry you so far. I don't care what field you're in. Eventually, a challenge is going to show up, and your natural gifts just aren't enough to get you over it.
And just like that, for the very first time, the natural is staring at a wall they can't climb. It's a level of difficulty they've never even seen before, and they are totally, fundamentally unprepared for it. They don't have the tools, so they get stuck. They stagnate.
But what's even worse is what happens in their head. I mean, their entire identity is built around being the talented one, the natural. So this failure, it doesn't just feel like a bump in the road. It feels like a full-blown crisis. It's an attack on who they think they are. And that big ego, it gets right in the way of actually learning how to get better.
And then, to really rub salt in the wound, while the natural is just sitting there, stuck, they look over their shoulder. And who do they see? The striver. The person they used to beat without even trying. And that person is slowly but surely catching up. This, right here, is the moment where so many talented people just crumble.
So now, we've hit the climax, the whole story. This is it, the great crossover. The moment where all that hard work finally overtakes raw, natural talent.
And this chart just shows it perfectly, doesn't it? Look at that first bar, the natural. Starts way up high, but then it just flattens out, plateaus. Now look at the striver. They start lower, for sure, but that line is just steady, consistent growth. Why? Because they're used to challenges. They know how to push through them. And eventually, they don't just catch up, they blow right past the natural. And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea. We see this play out in the real world all the time. You know who I'm talking about, the youth sports star who's a legend at 12 but just crumbles when they hit the higher levels, or that super smart kid who gets straight A's in high school but then struggles a ton in university or their first real job. And all the while, that so-called average kid, the one who just quietly kept working, almost under the radar, suddenly, they're the ones who are way better. So, does this mean if you're talented, you're doomed to fail? No, absolutely not. But it does mean you have a very specific challenge you have to overcome. Which brings us to the most important part. How do you escape the trap? But first, you have to appreciate the beautiful irony of it all. After years and years of grinding, of relentless work, when total strangers see the striver at the top of their game, what do you think they call them? Talented, gifted, a natural. They have no idea about the mountain of effort it took to get there. They just see the results. So if you're one of those naturals, the way out is actually pretty simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You have to consciously choose the path of the striver. Step one is just realizing this whole thing is real. Step 2, you've got to actively push yourself way past your comfort zone. Step 3 is to develop that striver mindset, that character. And then step 4, you combine that powerful new mindset with the natural talent you already have.
And if you can pull that off, if a talented person really manages to combine their gift with that unstoppable work ethic, my God, the result is something else. At that point, the number of people on this planet who can surpass them becomes very, very small. So that really just leaves us with one final thought. Think of your talent as your starting point. That's it. It might get you a little head start in the race, sure, but it's your mindset, your character, your willingness to struggle, that's what determines how you finish the race. So the real question is, what are you going to build?